Hello, my name's Erik Davis, El Presidente of Old Spanish Days Fiesta 2020. During this pandemic, we've decided to tell some stories through video. We're going to look at some of the artists, talk about the history, and like I said, tell stories. We're privileged to have with us today Fritz Olenberger, who's a member of the board of Old Spanish Days, but is also known for his beautiful photography. He brings Fiesta and many events to life throughout Santa Barbara County. Welcome, Fritz. Nice to have you.
Good to be here.
So this was not your original career in professional photography, but you've sure embraced it.
Yeah, I was an engineer with Raytheon Company, first back east, and then here in Goleta. Started with Raytheon back in 1972 and moved out here in 1994, and we've lived here ever since. I retired in 2009, and that's when, you know, I've always been interested in photography. When I was growing up, my dad had two cameras, a Leica and a Rolleiflex, which were very nice cameras, and he let me play with them, and he explained some of the fundamentals of photography, and so I've always enjoyed photography.
Absolutely, and it's something it seems like you enjoy with your wife as well.
She accompanies me everywhere I go. She's a great help. Everybody that knows me also knows her. She carries my camera bag, hands me my lenses that I need. She's a great help. Thank you for bringing her name up.
And what got you focused on events in particular, or was it just organic in terms of how did you decide, I want to capture, you know, this race, this event, this, how'd that come about?
Before I retired, most of my photography was landscape photography and scenic photography, travel photography. I had some photos of travel photography published on the cover of travel magazines. And then as I approached retirement, I started getting interested in events around Santa Barbara. I'd photograph a lot of the parades, all of the parades really. And then one day, I think it was probably about a year before I retired, I was watching a parade, and Francisco Cabrera approached me. Now, Francisco and his family, his wife Maria, his daughter Marisol, and son Pablo are very much involved with Old Spanish Days Fiesta. Francisco also worked at Raytheon with me, so he and I knew each other pretty well. And he approached me and asked me if I would be willing to, both myself and Gretchen, be willing to join them, because their whole family danced at that time at Noches de Ronda on stage and take photographs on stage. And I was just delighted to hear that. So we did that. By the way, Marisol, his daughter, was a former Spirit of Fiesta, also a former Junior Spirit of Fiesta, and I believe a former St. Barbara. So anyway, at that time, his family was dancing, and I took photographs on stage. I did not have my digital camera. Remember, this was quite a few years ago. I did not have the digital camera at that time, and so the lighting being quite low at Noches de Ronda was a bit of a challenge. And then when the next year, he invited me again, and after that, I was going to all of them. And I think that was really how I got started in photographing events around Santa Barbara.
Yes, and this is a town of parades. There's so many parades in Santa Barbara, almost every weekend it seems. But for me, what you capture the best is the dance, the spectacular dance of Fiesta. You mentioned you were on stage for Noches de Ronda, which is just incredible. We're going to go ahead and pull up some of your photos, and if you would just kind of talk about that. But you really have a kind of a keen interest in Old Spanish Days Fiesta, and the dancers just love you for capturing these special moments for them. You know, when we hear the Spirit and Junior Spirit talk on their farewell addresses, you're the first person they thank. And you bring events like we had last Saturday to life. So if we can go ahead and cue up a few of these photos. So here's one, and this is just unbelievable.
This is Jessalyn McCollum. This is her performance at the Spirit auditions in 2019. And based on this performance and also interviews, which is another thing that they do for the selection, she was selected Spirit of Fiesta that year in 2018. I love this photo. She's wearing a bata de cola, which you don't see a lot of in the auditions, and it's beautiful. I'm told that it is a little risky because it's easy to screw up, so you really have to be talented and know how to use it. But I like this picture because of the S curve sort of formed by the shawl and the bata de cola. And look at that expression on her face. I mean, she is absolutely loving this. And I think that's the way these dancers have to approach the auditions. They have to go out there and just have fun. And you can tell by this picture that she is just having a blast.
And what do you capture this with? I mean, I know where you sit. It's a little bit, the lighting's different. What kind of camera are you using for those out there?
Oh, I use a Canon 5D Mark IV. It's one of the two cameras that I use most. I have a lot of cameras, but they're older ones. But I use a 5D Mark IV. And usually for the auditions, I use a 70 to 200 millimeter zoom lens, also a Canon. And for the photographers out there, the lens speed is f2.8. And just about all the photographs I take with the lens wide open, which lets in a lot of light. And so I shoot at f2.8 for these. And I shoot at a fairly high ISO, again for the photographers, 3200 to 6400, usually 3200. And then I let the camera pick the shutter speed. But when I select those other two parameters, it forces the camera to take the picture at the highest shutter speed that it can. And so that captures the face and the hands and the feet stationary. You see a little bit of blur in the shawl, but that gives you a feeling of motion. So that's the camera I use, and this is one of my favorites.
Let's move on to another picture. And this is also at the Spirit auditions, but it captures not only the emotion in the crowd, but the emotion on stage and what it means. This is a lifetime of work that these dancers put into this.
It is. Some of these dancers have been taking lessons since they were 3 years old. This shows Natalie Mowers, who is selected the 2014 Junior Spirit of Fiesta. And the sash is being given to her by Keilani Cordero, who is the previous year's Junior Spirit of Fiesta. And you know, when I take these shots, I start out, normally I sit in the audience taking from my chair in the audience, but right before they announce, I run up an aisle away from the stage, way back, to get a shot of all of the dancers. It'll either be a line of Junior Spirit dancers or Senior Spirit dancers, because I want to get that whole line as the envelope is being opened. And then once I've gotten that picture, I run down the aisle and wait for the announcement, because it's always something like this. It's very emotional, and I've got a lot of pictures like this, and it's just, I mean, you can just see the emotion in her face. It's just, I just love this photo.
Let's take a look at this. Again, more dancing, and to me, this is what you bring to life for this community. Now I know where this is. Talk to me about this one.
Oh, well, the next major free event, now there's a lot of parties that go on between the auditions and Pequeña, and I haven't included photos of those parties, but those keep me very busy. And there's other activities. There's flower girls, visitations, and so forth. But the next major big event is Fiesta Pequeña, which always occurs on a Wednesday. However, they have the rehearsal for Fiesta Pequeña the day before, and that's when I go up. I have special access to the roof of the mission, and I take photographs from there. The lighting is a little better because the rehearsal for Pequeña occurs, I don't know, an hour or two before, earlier in the day, so the lighting's better. And I just have so much fun up there. I've taken hundreds of photos like this. This is one of my favorites. This is Georgie Taupin, who is the 2018 Junior Spirit of Fiesta. And I like again, there's kind of an S curve there, and I like the way the fringe flares out. I have a lot of fun up there. I think there's some more photos from up there that I have for you. Yeah, this one. This is another one of my favorites. This is Gilda Sagoon and Jenny Sanchez of the Sagoon Dance Studio. And this was actually on the cover of a magazine here locally. I really like this picture. I like the way the hair flies out and the way the skirts fly out. I just love this picture. I get to know quite a few of these dancers, and they get to know me, and that's part of the fun of being a photographer. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 11 years or so, and just getting to know these people and seeing them over and over again, it's part of the fun.
And the colors. I just am always blown away, and Fiesta is about dance for me, and it's about the colors and the vibrancy and the movement and the beauty that's represented in dance, and this one captures it. Now we go to, where's this one?
Oh, I'm still up on the roof. I'm still up on the roof. The Fiesta Pequeña ends with the various dance studios going on stage, taking a bow, and then grouping on both sides of the stage. And they do that as part of the rehearsal as well. And so I was up there with my camera, and I called Gretchen from the roof. I called Gretchen, who was down below, and I said, Gretchen, go over to that group of people and tell them I'm up here and have them wave at me. I tried yelling to them, but they can't hear me from up there. So she went over there, and she pointed and said, look, there's my husband. He wants to take a picture of you guys. So I got this picture. Look at all the smiles on their faces.
And now this is your shot.
Yeah, this is taken, as I said, from the left side of the stage as you face the stage. This might be somebody from the Sagoon Dance Studio. The challenge for these photos is that the action can be pretty fast. The lighting is relatively low. So again, I have to shoot at a very high ISO and shoot with my lens wide open. That's a good thing. When you shoot with the lens wide open, it throws some of the background stuff out of focus, as you can see here. So you can concentrate on the main point of the image, which is the face of this lady dancer.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we are at opening night of Fiesta, and thank you for sharing this journey through Fiesta, through photos, especially this year. It really captures of what the spirit of Fiesta and what it means to our community. Thank you, Fritz, for this time. If people want to see all your photos, where's the best way they can do that?
I have a website. It's www.olenberger.com. When you go to the website, click on galleries, and there's galleries of all kinds of things, including Old Spanish Days Fiesta. When you click on that, there's a gallery for each, or a collection of galleries for each year. And then when you click on that, within any year, there's a gallery for each event. And typically there might be like 25 to 30 different events in a year. And so I've got photos of all of those.
Well, thank you, Fritz. I've enjoyed this chat, and even though Fiesta may look a little bit different this year, we look forward to sharing your photos with the community and bringing what we can to life.
Thank you, Eric, and Viva la Fiesta.
Viva la Fiesta.